Hey everyone, Christian here, and this is a vlog about Livistona rigida, also known as the Mataranka palm, which I've never heard of that common name before in my life. So, like many Livistonas, this one is native to Australia, this one particularly Queensland and the Northern Territory. And the name rigida comes from the fact that the leaves stay more upright, where I don't know if you can see through the forest, but there's actually Livistona decipiens, or decora, which actually is very droopy, as are many other species of Australian Livistona. So this one keeps its leaves upright. It used to be in the same subspecies as Maryi and Victorii, but it kind of it's its own species now, as of, I don't know, 10 years ago. And it kind of has a bluish green hint to it. You can see that the base of the trunk is always going to be very swollen like that. This one's a little bit thinner than I would expect, but it's not bad looking, and it was a donation, so it might have been a little bit stunted, but usually these hold a full crown of leaves. This one's been trimmed up a little bit, and yeah, it's actually a really versatile palm. This will grow really well in any zone 9 climate. I've seen it grown in places that get down to about 22 Fahrenheit or about -5, -6 Celsius, and it's a nice looking plant. It kind of looks, it's almost like the Australian version of a palmetto, but a little bit prettier in that it's not as doesn't have as much, I don't know how to explain it. It is a little bit tidier of a plant, I guess you could say, a little more symmetrical, and just when it holds a full crown, it has a big trunk. It kind of has like that big sable look to it. So I'm trying to get a better, the wind's been kind of bad here, trying to get a better view of what it actually looks like with the sun, but I can't seem to get that. So it will keep a little bit of its petiole bases down at the bottom and up a little bit. You can even see all the way near the crown. It's still keeping that, and that's pretty typical of most Australian Livistonas. Usually Australian Livistonas will do that, and non-Australian ones tend not to keep their bases. So that's not necessarily the case in every species, but it's kind of a rule of thumb. So this palm has a seed that's going to be the size of like a huge pea, I guess you could say, and it's spherical, and it's pretty easy to germinate. You give it a lot of heat, well draining medium, and just let them go ahead. It's best to just kind of let them sit in an open container and let them germinate. They are remote germinators, and when they grow up, they are relatively fast. These actually get a little bit of red color to them when they're younger, and it's kind of the whole Livistona Maryi complex allows for that. Rigida not as much as Maryi, but it still has that red color. In fact, actually, you know, it gets quite a bit of red now that I think about it. Victorii is the one that does not get that much red. So it says that its mature height is 30 feet, and I've actually seen them 20 to 25 feet in cultivation here in Florida, and it is pretty easy. Like I said, it's pretty maintenance free. It doesn't suffer from many nutrient deficiencies. It grows in some hot weather in Northern Territory. Pretty much all of Northern Territory is hot and relatively dry, and it does have a little bit of arming on the petioles, but it's not something you're really going to notice. But it's a much prettier, a much better looking palm, in my opinion, than say like other palmate palms that could be grown here, such as Washingtonia. You know, the native sable palmetto, obviously I prefer because it's native, but this is a pretty good palm to have. You can to have in your collection in many Mediterranean subtropical areas. You can see there's actually a little bit of red on the petiole up there, and that's a sign, of its red beginnings. It actually has quite a red leaf when it's younger. So, but yeah, these grow. The one thing you kind of want to watch out for is if you picked up seed of this palm and there's a lot of other Livistonas nearby, there's a very good chance of there being a hybrid. And the upside is the hybrids of this, would say Livistona chinensis or australis, actually grow faster, and they are very robust. I've seen some 40-foot specimens of this hybridized with other Australian Livistonas and some of the Southeast Asian ones. So, but yeah, it is in a complex with Livistona. Like I said, it used to be Livistona Maryi, a subspecies rigida, and there was also subspecies Maryi and subspecies Victorii. But it was given its own species, which is I think it's, you know, makes it a little bit easier to distinguish instead of having to say all these subspecies, because if they're a subspecies, in my opinion, they might as well be a species. So anyway, that's about it with the with Livistona rigida. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave it down below. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll see many more palm videos like this. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see everybody next time.